I'm Corky Coker, and I have been around collector cars my whole life. I've been raised in the old car hobby. I love the European cars, the Model Ts, the hot rods, the race cars, the vintage bikes, the antique trucks. I just dig it. But you know what's better than that? Is the people in the old car hobby. They are the best. You might know this to be a 1969 Jaguar E-Type. Well, I love Jaguars. So did Enzo Ferrari, by the way. He said it was the most interesting and best designed body of a car he'd ever seen. Well, we have just acquired also a 1959, 10 years older than this, XK 150S. And we're gonna go pick it up right now. I can tell Miss Jen loves this car. That look on her face told me exactly how much this beautiful car meant to her. You know, she had a dream of showing this car to the rest of the world. And now I think she's just decided that the best way to do that is for Honest Charley to store it. And then she gets to show it to the world through us. Every car here in the Coker Museum has a story, and the stories tell about the passion that people have for old cars. Here at the Coker Museum, I get to display these vintage cars, trucks, and bikes with pride. And I get to do what I love to do. I like to drive them. I like to see them on the roads. I like to be seen on the roads, on the racetracks. And that's what we're going to do at the Honest Charley Garage. We're going to build cars that people can enjoy, that people can drive, and people can experience.
Have you found what you've been looking for? Lost the road, it always winds. Keep your eyes on what's in front of you. You just don't know what you might find.
This is a 1914 Stutz Bearcat, wonderful sports car, brought to you by Haggerty Drivers Club. You know, you really gotta love driving a Stutz Bearcat in the sunny skies of eastern Tennessee and North Georgia. We had a wonderful time. You need to come see this car. It's a 1914 Stutz Bearcat made in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's on display right here in the Coker Museum right downtown at Honest Charley Garage. And you know, to have the fun that I have driving a car like this, but you know what we're gonna do right now? We're gonna go pick up a 1959 Jaguar from Miss Jan that we just acquired. We've already seen this car before, but she's in wonderful shape. Tell me how long you've had this car?
I've had it since 1985. We brought it back from, it's been in a barn up in Ohio since
And then came here after, it was in the barn in Ohio in 77 for a number of years. And then you
went up and got it, and it's been sitting right there since 1985.
Since 1985?
Yes.
And you've never driven it? It's just sitting right like this.
No.
I mean, in the dry. You know, I have to tell you that this is a car collector's dream, to find a car that's a barn find and in decent condition. And, you know, I have to tell you that this has been a really interesting story of, you know, my son and your baby son that passed, and just an interesting, you know, connection that we have. And, you know, I am just so thankful that you've taken care of this car and never really had the idea that you'd sell it. But tell me about why you decided to sell it.
My son went online and told me, Mom, you know what that car's worth? I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, but I was going to save it and fix it up because I got rid of all the other hot rods and
everything else.
And that was the only car I was going to save and fix up and drive out of here, you know, with my scarf blowing in the winds, and I felt I deserved that. So.
Yeah, you do deserve that. let me just tell you that this car is a fun sports car. I can see, you know, several things that we'll do to this car as we kind of bring it up. I don't believe I'll paint it. I can't really tell if this is original paint, but I believe it is. I believe it is. It needs an interior, and we'll have to kind of go through the motor and maybe the transmission, fix a few things, but let me tell you something I'm going to promise you. I'm going to fix this car up and come down here and get you and let you drive it, but then I will first take you a ride and let you with the top down and let you let the wind blow your hair in the scarf and just have you live that dream that you always had about this. This is a 1959 Jaguar XK 150S. What an amazing car, Miss Jan. I am so thankful that you've decided to let me be the next caretaker. You know, we don't really own stuff.
Right.
We just get to caretake it for a while.
Right.
And I promise you, lady, that this car will be shining and will be a wonderful restoration. We'll partly restore it so that it's good and drivable and usable, and you'll hear that sound. These 6-cylinder motors have a wonderful sound.
Oh, wow.
When you move from first to second to third.
Oh, I like that.
It will be fun.
All right.
So
you're gonna make me proud, huh?
I'm going to make you proud, Jan.
Because that's what I want to do. Is fix
right.
it up.
That's right. So we're going to do that, and in our negotiations, you came to our shop, so you know we have the ability. I've got some guys here that are going to help me air the tires up and load it out of here on the rollback and get it out of its den that it's been here since 1985 and take it down to Honest Charley Garage and the Coker Museum, and we'll do a makeover of this car, put a little makeup on it and shine its shoes and all the fun stuff that we car guys get to do and get to make Jan proud.
Yay.
So, yay! Well, hey, I want to hug. Thank you so much for letting me come here and
You're taking it. I really am, because you know there's so many people wanted it, and I thought, no, I want it to stay home. I want it to be with you because I can go see it, because it could have went anywhere, you know.
Well, there's another thing I'm going to promise you. Anytime you want to bring somebody down, if you want to bring your son down to the Coker Museum at Honest Charley, you're welcome anytime.
Yes,
no
sir.
charge. Okay?
All right.
No charge. So
Benefits. Huh?
Benefits. This episode of Corky Coker's Honest Charley Garage is brought to you by the Coker Museum. We love to share the Coker Museum, especially with people with their most important dates of their lifetime, like wedding receptions or like promotions and Christmas events. The Coker Museum is the place to come. You can help support our show by joining the Hagerty Drivers Club. It includes a subscription to our award-winning magazine, unlimited access to our valuation tool, 24/7 roadside assistance with flatbed towing, free classified listings, exclusive coupons and offers, and VIP perks to select Hagerty events. Get more information at hagerty.com/HDC. And by our friends at Moss Motors, run by enthusiasts for enthusiasts.
We've got Miss Jan's car here. We've pressure washed the inside and the outside. We've taken a wire brush to the underneath parts of it to just get the rust off. Today we're going to be doing the brakes, and what better place to get parts is from Moss Motors. They're kind of your one-stop shop.
This car sat in a building in Chickamauga, Georgia since 1981, and we just recently got it out of storage and started our work on this car. It's an amazing car that we're going to enjoy, but it's a driver. It's not a concourse restoration. We're doing stuff so it drives well, looks good. Josh Kuzek, a graduate of McPherson College, is the primary technician on this restoration. Jason Sane, our painter, and he basically is responsible for the bright work, and he's done a lot of the work on the paint.
So the front calipers, that's the one with that special kit that has the seal on these is on the piston itself, versus a modern caliper, it's on the caliper and not the piston. It's just a little bit more reliable. So one of the surprising things about this car is that really nothing has been seized up. We had a little bit of trouble with the rear rotors, but besides that, everything has come off fairly easily, and we haven't had to fix any broken nuts, any studs that wouldn't want to come out.
The Jaguar XK 150 is about 250 horsepower. And since I live in eastern Tennessee and North Georgia, we got some great roads and they'll go fast down the road. But you know, all of a sudden there's a real sharp turn and you've got to have good brakes. Moss Motors has fixed us up with a wonderful brake system with all brand new lines, brand new calipers, and the seal is like a modern brake system, and it's on the cylinder side. So it's easily maintained, it's easily worked on. Can't wait to get in this car, go fast and stop fast too.
2 3/4 inch. See, there's some modification required on these to set up. This here has to be pulled out, which can sometimes just slide out because the new piston has these prongs on them as a retainer for the brake pad. These have a more powerful braking than the factory setup, bigger piston. Most of the bolts we've been able to just use standard, American standard, which is what this line wrench is for these brake lines. It's just an American size. But for some of the brake hoses, actually, we used a 3/8 Whitworth wrench in combination with an American standard 9/16 wrench. Working for Corky, there's not really a whole lot that's the same every single day. Today's 59 Jag. Sometimes I make wheels, sometimes I'm working on Jags. It's all over the place, and that's kind of a fun thing. Gets me a lot of experience, gets me a lot of hands-on time on different things that I maybe wouldn't have worked on anywhere else.
We're really excited about the way this car is coming together. You'll see a new interior kit. You'll see very soon, you'll see a brand new set of Ragtime radials on this car with brand new Dayton wire wheels. This is kind of the original paint that's been wet sanded and buffed, and it's really looking good. We've got new welting on the fenders. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to get to see it on each of the episodes for the next few weeks. This 1911 Marmon Wasp is an exact reproduction of the original car that is on display today at the Indianapolis Car Museum, Racing Car Museum, in the center of the racetrack at Indy, right there in Indianapolis, Indiana. We borrowed the original car, displayed it for a couple weeks, and took a lot of photographs, measurements, built a buck, built a frame, found some original Marmon parts. We used an original Herschel Spielman 6-cylinder motor. Let me show this motor to you. It is an amazing motor, 6-cylinder, just like was used in the original Marmon Wasp. This is a 3-speed transmission. Original Herschel Spielman motor. We built brand new frame rails. We scanned the paint code and got the original color. You'll notice here, look at these gears in the steering. You can see that it goes from the center out to the outside frame rails, and this is what we steer this thing with. Interesting thing about the Marmon was the first use of a rear view mirror. All the other racers in 1911, they used a riding mechanician, not a riding mechanic. A riding mechanician was the correct terminology used at the time. With the Marmon Wasp, Ray Haroon and the engineers at Marmon Harrington decided that with just one driver, they could probably save about 150 pounds. Everybody was a little lighter then. That's before fried chicken came into existence. But so engineers decided that what they could do was put a rear view mirror, and it satisfied the technical folks at the first Indy 500 in 1911. This is the gas tank. This is a reservoir for oil. And on a 500-mile race, a car would go through a lot of oil in the crankcase. Total loss system. A lot of dripping, kind of like Harley Davidson's. You know a Harley Davidson because it marks its spot. So did Marmon Wasps. Wonderful car, 34 4.5 tires, straight sides. This car is exact. I dare anybody to go to the Indy Car Museum, come to the Coker Museum, and compare the two cars. It's dead on. But we're going to get this car prepped and get ready to ship it out by reliable carriers to the Monterey Historics, and we're going to have a good time with it. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Brian Blaine of the Ragtime Racers. I've known Brian for a number of years as he's been a tire customer and fellow race car enthusiast. He has Nationals and Packards and a lot of vintage race cars, and he has put together a group of folks like myself that love vintage race cars, and they're all here at Monterey Historic at Laguna Seca. This is Todd's Lozier from Redmond, Washington. Todd is going to be riding with Richard Martyr from Honest Charley Garage. Richard's going to be playing the part of Smiling Ralph Mulford. And I'm going to be Ray Haroon. Now, I'm only about 11 or 12 inches taller than Ray Haroon is, but I'm going to squeeze myself into the Marmon, and we'll see who wins today. Let's go. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is a hard steer, but and the track is tall and it's got good curves, and the line is strong, but I enjoyed it. This Marmon Wasp can do it again. I love Lozier automobiles, and this is a very famous car. We built this car in 6 months here at Honest Charley Garage. We found an original radiator, we had original hubs, we had a number of original things like the gas pump, gauges, original Bosch switch, rear end, engine, and frame. So from that, we built this car from all the original pictures from 1911. Ralph Mulford was a friend of Harry A. Lozier and became their primary driver. Ralph Mulford in the pre-1911 era, from 1908 up until 1911, was probably one of the winningest race car drivers in America. He drove at Savannah, he drove in Atlanta, he drove it on the West Coast in Santa Monica and a number of places like that. We collected about 400 or 500 photographs, did a lot of measurements, and built this car from all of those photographs, down to the placement of the letters, down to the straps that held the radiator down. Detroit was coming up in the 1908, 1909. Ford Motor Company was strong. The Chevrolet brothers were there. Buick was there. Lozier had an automobile manufacturing facility in Detroit as well. When Ralph Mulford left the factory to go to the Indy 500, they took a body off of this car, took it from production, put the race car body on it. Ralph drove from Detroit down to Indianapolis, so thus why the original car had original Lozier headlamps, had an acetylene tank that ran these things so that he could see at night when he was driving, because, you know, the 250 miles, it probably took a couple days to do that because you had to ford creeks and there were bridges. But interesting thing, he took the headlamps off when he raced, and Put it on the track, averaged about 90-something miles per hour. In this car. It's a really wonderful car. Place second. I love Loziers. I've got a 1909 Lozier right here, sitting right behind car number 33, Ralph Mulford's Indianapolis race car. But we're going to get this car prepared as well. It's going to go with us to Monterey Historics here in just a few weeks. We got to just check for safety things, making sure that all the pins are tight and the lugs are tight, the air pressure is good. These are high pressure tires built by Coker Tire Company. They require about 65 PSI because there's a lot of moving parts in the lock rings, side rings, etc. We got a lot to do to get these cars ready for Bob Sellers and his crew at Reliable Carriers are going to come pick them up and ship them out to Monterey Historics, and we're going to have a great time with the Ragtime Racers at the Monterey Historics, going around the racetrack at Laguna Seca.
Oh, riding Laguna Seca is an absolute dream of mine. I've been here multiple times through the years, and you know, watching that corkscrew and seeing what those drivers went through is an experience I never thought I'd have. Especially sitting what feels like 6 feet off the ground, going around a corner with wood wheels looking in front of you. It felt like we were going 200 miles an hour. What an experience, and quite an honor to be here today.
Vintage race cars all around wearing tires out. I'd like to thank Brian Blaine of Ragtime Racers who put that group together. We had almost 20 vintage race cars that rallied and raced around the track. We had a great time. Great job, Brian. Next week we'll be back at Chattanooga, Tennessee at Honest Charley Garage. The race cars are coming back. The brass cars got to get out and polish. Have you ever polished the brass on a 1911 Pierce Air or a 1912 Alco? It's a lot of work. We've got a lot of stuff to do to get ready for the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. I'm tired already.